Sometimes misunderstand the meaning of meditation by saying, don't think. No, the nature of the brain is to think. Prana work, breath work, meditation is to direct the brain, not to defy the brain. So now think about certain things, your space, what you're sitting on, how is that feeling? How is the space in between the walls and your body? How is that feeling? Today's session is exactly that, for you to ask your questions, for me to answer them for you. What I would really like is for us to start the conversation, and then every time we're thinking about or discussing a point or an idea, we will try and see if breath work can be added for a 2-3 minute breath hack, which will just help reset and ground us into this conversation. So आपको हिंदी में पूछना हिंदी में पूछो, पर मेरे एक्सेंट पे आपको हंसना नहीं है. I will try and answer in Hindi. English is my strong language, but I can also speak Marathi and I can understand Gujarati. So Gujarati, Marathi, Hindi, and of course English. So feel free to ask your questions. My response might be a mix of Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, and English, but let's have fun with that. So let's start. First question. Who wants to go? Remember, the topic is Ask Me Anything, but it's specific to breathwork as a form of natural medicine. Who would like to ask me the first question? You can type if you're feeling shy to ask. You can type. Avina will help us with the sharing of the message. Okay, so I guess I will start then. If no one's giving me a question, I will start adding stuff in it. And then you can ask me questions based on that. Now, there is so much information out there, a lot of information. And 5 years back, I think I was one of the first people to put it out there that the biggest problem of the future is going to be over information. And here we are. Everybody seems to have an answer. There are healers everywhere. Every second person is a yoga teacher. And like any evolution in the world, there are goods and there are bads, right? So the good part is everyone is becoming more aware. But the bad part is you have unsolicited advice, information coming through, and everybody claims that they have some healing form for you. It's very important for us to understand your brain like a battery. So the more information, the more load you put on the battery, what happens? You get drained. And when you get drained, you feel depleted and tired. And the first part of dis-ease is that word, dis-ease. Too many thoughts, too many ideas, confusion. In fact, there was research done, and you can go online and look for the research. My job is to present. My job is not to present the research, but the information for you. They found that people who had a set routine were happier and healthier than people who kept experimenting. Now, what I mean by saying set routine is they were set in the weather patterns and they changed according to the weather patterns, but that was cyclic. Every year they did the same thing. And you don't have to go far. You have to look at Ayurveda, which is the science of sciences, which even modern science today can't read or understand. And they're trying to make an effort to understand. But Ayurveda is a life science, and life science doesn't use scans to find out where things are at. Life sciences uses your intuitive question and answers. And that is the whole purpose of breathwork. Breathwork empowers you so you become your own doctor. Now, hear me carefully. I'm not saying in any terms that you become your own doctor in terms of you diagnose yourself, but you know where your problems lie, and then you go to a professional doctor or professional Ayurvedic doctor to get confirmation on your problem, use their advice, and then use it strategically. That's what I have done as a wellness coach. I've always had a medical doctor, an Ayurvedic doctor, a physio, a chiropractor. So I'm surrounded by health professionals who I rely on to plug in the gaps I have in my knowledge base and my intuitive answers. But this is the kicker. When I go and see them, I already know that this is what I need to do. I just don't know how to do it. So this is where I use the team of doctors and healers around me to try and find or narrow down the confusion. And like you, I go on to Copilot, I go on to ChatGPT, and I get information and answers from there. But I'm able to, I've trained myself to filter out the information so I can use the information that suits me. Now, let's look at breathwork and why it is so important now. Back in 2004, I had come to Australia. I was already a qualified yoga teacher, and I started teaching yoga in South Australia, Adelaide. And at that point, I was teaching the traditional Ashtanga, Kaivalyadam style Patanjali's yoga. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. 8 limbs of yoga, Ashtanga yoga. Even today, if you look at how beautifully and systematically this is put together, let me take you through how it works in today's world. Yam Niyam is basically your personal discipline, your community discipline, which means how do you live your life on a personal level and how do you live your life with community. The one thing that came through in lockdowns was how important human interaction and human community is. They found people who were able to adapt to situations were happier and healthier. People who had a routine but were not able to adapt were sad, depressed, and sick. So, the one takeaway I would like you to take with you is have a routine but be flexible. And that's where I coined the term circle of safety. And if you're interested in my clean slate program, it was basically based around how you create your values, your beliefs, your needs and wants, like we call it Lakshman Rekha, your circle of safety, stay in it, but keep dancing in and out. And each time you dance out of the circle and you get lost, you come back to your grounding. And that's where again Ashtanga Yoga comes in. Yam, Niyam, Asan. Asan is physical movement, correct? Now, there was some, sorry, I keep laughing because we are so naive as a population. This 10,000 step theory, which they said was scientific, is a load of BS, excuse my French. 10,000 was a marketing ploy that was used by companies to make people feel better that, oh, okay, at least do 10,000. If I tell you what the actual amount of time you need to put into your day, you would be like, no, I can't do it. And that's where the problem is. In today's wellness society, it's not about telling you what to do. It's about saying, okay, what can you do? You can do 10 minutes, please do it. I am not one of those coaches. I put it out as it is. This is what you need to do if you want to feel really good. What you're doing is going to make you feel so and so. Be happy with it, be realistic about it, but don't expect changes to come if you're not going to follow the routine. So, what is it that you need to do every day? 3 hours minimum. 1.5 hours in the morning, 1.5 hours in the evening. And this is what Ashtanga Yoga had put down thousands of years ago. Can you believe it? 1.5 hours in the morning, 1.5 hours in the evening. So that's 3 hours a day is the minimum time you need to put into your system to be optimized and enhanced. Now, some of you will be like, oh my God, you're putting so much pressure on me because I can't do that. My answer is no, I'm not putting pressure on you. I'm giving you the reality. It's like saying the sun rises, I get energy from the sunrise, but I can't wake up in the morning, so you're not going to get the sun energy. Then you have to be on vitamin D supplements to get that, right? Same way, if you're not able to do your 3 hours, that's fine. Do the next best and then do the third best. But then be realistic that you're not going to get the healing results you need to get if you're not going to put that in. Now, second point, I realized as a wellness coach, it's easy for me to preach, right? I wake up at my own time. I have my 1.5 hours routine, coconut pulling, coconut oil pulling, abhyanga massage in the mornings, meditation, no rush. I said I have to do something which is more tangible so I can relate to people in a 9 to 5 job. So I got into the corporate industry and I started working like everybody else, 9 to 5. And you know what I realized? It's hard. It's really hard to maintain discipline. And I feel I'm here with you. I'm not saying you are wrong, I'm right. The whole reason of having this conversation is to make you feel that we are all on the same plane, but there's only one Virat Kohli, and there's a reason for that. Okay. So, my purpose today is to wake you up to the fact that we all can be that Virat Kohli, but it takes a lot. Cut two. cut three, sorry, this is the third part. So when I got into the corporate world, it was difficult for me to do my discipline. It's hard because you have to buy the right organic oils, you have to do the right cooking, you have to cook at the right time, you have to eat at the right time, eat fresh food, do your bhangya, do this, organize yourself for the next day. And I stopped doing it. And guess what happened? My body broke down. And this happened in the last 5 years, in spite of me having all this knowledge, right? I started getting inflammation, aches and pains that were 1 on 10 became 5 on 10. I had a heel spur that refused to heal. So if I walked on the treadmill the next day, I was limping. It was a mess. And then I obviously forgot that the basics start with the basics. Last 6 months, I've got back to my basics. It doesn't matter what time I sleep, what time I get home. Even if I do 12-hour days, I do my morning routine and I do my evening routine. The context here is there is no shortcut. Whether you are a wellness coach, whether you're a body guru, doesn't matter. You have to put in your 1.5 hours and 1.5 hours, even if it means you sleep less. That is the core understanding of where we are as a society. Now, yoga was developed in an age where we did more housework. We chopped wood, we cleaned the house. In Australia, we still don't have access to stuff like we have in India. So I still do my own house cleaning. So that's 1.5 hours of movement that I do. In India, when I'm back home, I do nothing. So that's 1.5 hours less of what I could be doing over here. So the moral of the story is if you can't do your exercise, at least do cleaning and functional stuff at home. Mopping, sweeping, get down on your legs if you don't have knee problems and mop. Be flexible. I got functional movement into India in 2007, and that's when people started looking at gym workouts versus functional movement patterns, and it made such a big difference to everybody. The purpose of this story is I have an easy solution for you. Do 21 minutes of breath work in the morning, do 21 minutes of breath work in the afternoon, and do 21 minutes of breath work in the evening. If you can do that, you will make better choices, which is half your battle because right now the choices we make is the problem, right? We all know what is right and what is wrong. Everybody here will give me a PhD in what is organic, what is not, which fruit juice to have, which not to have. There's a lot of people in India doing some very good work bringing out all this to the surface. But come on, you're telling me you didn't know that your commercial juices have sugar and flavors. You didn't know that the food you buy from your vada pav stall with refried oil is going to be harmful for you. Of course you knew. It's just that you're not making the right choices, right? So in this instance, how do you make the right choice? Because you come home, you're tired, your eyes have been on the computer, your eyes and brain are connected, you're already in fight mode. It's like your eyes think you're hunting, even though you're on the computer. You come home, the first thing, what do you want to do? Can somebody give me that answer? What is the first thing your brain needs when it's feeling depleted? Amina, you're going for it. Unmute yourself and give us the answer.
I personally just want to lie down, scroll through my phone, and then eventually fall asleep.
Wow. So that's the dopamine rush you want. Anybody craves sugar, chocolate, wheat, processed food when they're tired and extremely, extremely in need of a coffee break in the afternoon or in the evening? Just put your hand up. So none of you crave chocolate or sugar. Wow. Then I must be okay. Thank God someone's put their hand up. So when I come home from a long day, the first thing I want to do is lie on the mat and stretch. But what I do is I want to reach for sugar because the brain is depleted. And this is where another problem lies. Your eyes are connected to your brain, which is basically your eyes are an extension of the brain. If you go deep into it, your eyes are an extension of the brain. Your radiation from the screen is literally frying your brain because of the heat. It goes into your nerves and your brain literally gets fried. That's why they say I'm brain fried at the end of the day. 60% of the sugar in your body is utilized by the brain. So it's no wonders that we crave sweets, sugars, processed food because your brain needs it. But the problem is making that choice. You have to explain to your brain, you have to have that internal conversation that no, if I do this now, I'm going to live less, I'm going to feel worse. And hey, brain, you know what? We want to live longer. So you do something known as a self counseling. So you start making those healthy choices. But if you did your breath work morning, afternoon, night, you know what? You just don't go towards the choices you don't want. It's honestly that simple. And yama, niyam, asan, pranayam, in the middle is breath work. Okay. I know commercially, socially, when I say socially on social media, breathwork has become very popular. And again, there are two parts to it. I'm so happy that everyone is talking about breathwork, but at the same time, we have to be careful because most of the breathworks being practiced is basically shusha. It's just made to feel dramatic. Oh, you get, there's this new concept where if you do breath work, you get paralyzed a bit because you're doing so much of hyperventilation from your mouth. And it has nothing to do with trauma. It has everything to do with carbon dioxide and oxygen. But we all love drama. So it's become like a dramatic thing that if you do breath work and you go, you feel all these trauma coming out. It's again BS, if I may say so, and it actually is creating negative impact for people. But each one has their own karma, so each one has to make the choices. And I'm here today again to empower you with breath work so you can make the right choices for you. Now, let me give you an example. Ayurveda for me, as per my doctors, is very different to what, if I may say, any of you would have in your consultation, right? I am a pit with an imbalance of vat, which means what works for me will not work for you, right? On top of that, my lifestyle would be very different to somebody who's a pit and a vat. So my doctor has been able to personalize my program along with my inputs on what works, what doesn't work. Secondly, I am in Australia. My weather patterns are different to Mumbai. The pollution levels are different. So again, I have to adapt the dosages I take in India or in Mumbai to the dosages I take here. Because the pollution levels are much lower here, I don't have to have as much antioxidants in my body. So again, it's very environmentally important for you to study yourself and analyze, study, try, and then utilize what you need to. Quick 1 minute break for questions. Questions, feedback, add in your stuff. Say, yes, I agree with you. Oh, this is what I've done. So then everyone on this can get empowered. Who's going? Uma, would you like to say something? Sorry,
Uh,
unmute Uma,
Feel
please.
free to raise your hands. We can go ahead and unmute you.
Oh, is that how it works? So you unraise and then it unmutes. Okay. Uma, how does she, sorry, Avina, how does Uma unmute herself?
Uma, you can unmute yourself. I've given you the permission to unmute.
So while Uma's figuring it out, Alina, are you ready to give us some feedback or some questions?
Yeah, sure. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and
I
clear.
just feel like you actually just sometimes when you're breathing, it's such a unconscious action that I would actually like to just come back to it whenever I can because I feel like I just feel short of breath, but I'm not paying attention. The thing is, the minute I pay attention, I realize the breath is short. But if I'm not, I just go on my day without actually allowing me to feel the action of breath.
Mm.
So that I feel is actually something that I would like to be aware of because I feel like when you're conscious of it, and how do you become conscious of it? Because that's when you'll breathe correctly. If you're unconscious, it's just an activity that goes on throughout the day without you actually gaining, like you said, like it's a big part of your life, without you actually making the most of what you can do when you're breathing. You just let it go on like a involuntary action.
Mm.
So I would
Very,
like to
very
know
well
how to
put.
basically become aware of it on a on a constant level. Yeah.
Lovely. So this is the best question I've had in a while, and this is exactly where we're going to maneuver this whole conversation of today. I had a lovely session today with someone who had motor neuron disease, and this is my second session of breathwork with him. And this is in context to what Alina has asked. So he was asking me, how can he help himself not get into a spasm when he's getting out of bed? Okay. So my analogy is very simple. It's like a piggy bank. The more you put in, the less problems you're going to have through the day. So if you can be preventive, which is start your morning with breath work, don't wait for the symptoms to come, because the symptoms are going to come. We are not moving enough. We are overstressed with overinformation. The radiations are obviously impacting our brain waves. So there is no way you can run away from feeling anxiety, feeling short of breath. Because think of the heart, right? It's a magnetic thing. You work on whole magnetic field around you. If you're, Wi-Fi by itself doesn't allow plants to grow as well without that you would have without Wi-Fi. So you can imagine what your system's going through. So the point here is, if you're aware of something, take a step to do it. Because if you don't, and if you put it under the carpet, which we're very good at doing, and that's a salute to the human resilience, right? We keep powering through. We have to do it. Karna hai, we have to do it, which is good. But remember, yoga says balance. Kabhi karna hai, kabhi nahi karna hai. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. So if you do your 1.5 hours of yoga in the morning, they say you become bulletproof till the evening. But if you don't, the bullets enter. It's like having a raincoat in the rain, right? If you have a good raincoat, you're protected. If not, you get wet. So my suggestion would be start the morning with breath work, even if it means 5 minutes, because that immediately gets you in touch with yourself. Then, as you're moving through the day and you're feeling these things come, take a break for a minute if you have to. Conscious inhalation, conscious exhalation. In fact, let's actually break for a few breathwork hacks. Let's all do it together. Sitting up straight. Breathe in as much as you can from the nose. Release the breath from the nose. Do not push the breath out, just release. Breathe in nose. Release nose. Breathe in nose forcefully. Release nose, relax. Breathe in nose forcefully. Relax from the nose. 5 more. Breathe in nose. Relax nose. Breathe in nose. Relax nose. Breathe in nose, active inhalation. Passive exhalation. Active inhalation. Passive exhalation. Last one. Active inhalation. Passive exhalation. Relax. 1 minute, that's all. How good do you feel? Feel some difference? Yeah? Now bring your palms closer. What do you feel? Something? Some magnetism? Some energy? Something? I'm not giving it a name. I'm asking you. Can you describe what you're feeling once you feel it? Something? Ooh, I feel something, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. I would like you to tell me what it is in your words. Unmute yourself and just tell me what you're feeling when you're ready. I think Alina is ready. Someone will unmute you in a second, Alina. Give us a second. Also, Avina, you send out the, I think the person.
Okay, got it. Okay. So I basically feel like there's a bit of an energy which allows me to take on the activity I want to do next. Like I feel there's something within the two hands which gives me the energy to now take on what I want to do next.
That's magnetism, right? Because
Yeah.
north, south, east, west, we are all magnetic beings, energetic beings, right? So what you're feeling is what you're born with. We are all born with breath and energy. Prana flows through breath. Once your breath goes, you bye bye. So what you're feeling is energy. It exists. When you become intentive about it, intention creates action.
So maybe I'll put it in such a way that I would say, if I want to create energy, let's do breath work. So they encourage me to do the breath work so that I can create the energy to take on the next action. It just becomes an easy way to, like they say, atomic habits, right? I do that a lot with the meditation process in the morning. So this will allow you to put that into, because sometimes you remember how to do it. So unless and until you don't have you don't have human beings are like that. We always want something out of something before we give
Reward,
in.
right?
Yeah,
Action and
reward
reward.
based.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, now I want the energy to do this, so maybe I should do the breath work, which will encourage me or make it easier for me to do the job. I'm actually penning down everything, so I
Perfect. And I'm going
use
to add
it.
in more benefits for you because then
Yeah.
it becomes really tangible for you to do it, right? Alina, you're coming up with some beautiful yokkers.
I've
And I'm
done
going
a lot of meditative work actually, if you know, in
to,
my
I know.
journey
Yeah,
to
yeah,
be where
yeah.
I am. So I think
Yes,
it's somewhere helping me, and I'm glad your
absolutely.
session is really helping me get
Yes,
better
yes,
at it. Yeah.
yes. And we are going to basically add to this. Now, let's look at meditation as a whole, okay? And I'm not saying meditation is bad in any way, but again, balance.
Yeah.
Imagine you are in space. There's no gravity. What's going to happen?
It's just gonna go up.
You're just going to float. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm floating. I want some grounding.
Yeah.
So, meditation without breath work can
Sure.
cause that negative effect for you. Not for you, Alina, but this is for
Yeah,
everybody
sure,
else.
sure, of course, of
Yeah.
course.
So, breathwork becomes more important now. Yam, niyam, asan, pranayam. These are all things you do. Pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi happen. You don't do, it just happens. Pranayama has two parts, which we don't mention, breathwork and the pratyahara. So think of them not as pillars, but merging into each other, right? Before you do pranayama, you have to understand breathwork basics, which part of the lungs to use, how much inhalation, how much exhalation, reduce inhalation, reduce exhalation, use locks to create length in the breath in and out, use locks to hold your breath out, hold the breath in. Then you move to pranayama. Once you start practicing pranayama, the next part of pranayama moves into pratyahara where pranayama just happens. It's a beautiful state because your body just happens. It's like a car rolling down a slope, it just happens. That's why when my breathwork sessions happen, I first give structure. And then when you move into your 21 minutes of breathwork, I say, now do what you want. Let your intuitive guidance come to the fore. And you know why that's important? Because if you mastered your energy, all the sad gurus in the world will be out of business. If you mastered your energy, I would be out of business. If you mastered your energy, Soul Sensor would be out of business. If you mastered your energy, governments would not be able to control you. That's how powerful it is, and that's why people don't talk about it. And that's one reason why yoga today is going to save humanity. We were going down a very disastrous path. I mean, I've seen the evolution from 96 when I left my family businesses and moved into this path because I saw my grandfather, who was a millionaire, on life support. What could he do? Nothing. He worked for everyone, had all the money in the world, but he suffered like everybody else. So that was a wake up moment for me. And every family, unfortunately or fortunately, has this one black sheep who comes in and says, hold on, I am changing the grid. And that was me. So I've seen this happen and I was like, I don't want to live that life. How much money do you need? Okay, be practical, save that much money, be smart, invest it correctly, and then just live life serving people. It gives you so much happiness, right? And when you're happy, your aging becomes secondary. So again, I bought myself into corporate world so I could relate to everyone and say, okay, I'm doing 9 to 5. Sorry, I'm doing 9 to 7. And I still have time for my meditation and my breath. What's your excuse? Right? So another way of looking at it, you have all this money, you don't look after your health, you're going to spend all that money on your health in the future. Right? And I've done a basic calculation. So if in terms of my earning, averaging $33 to $50 an hour, that's my average, okay, as a full-time employee in Australia. If I need to go to a physio or a chiropractor, that's $150. That's 5 hours of my work. If I cut down 3 hours, 1.5, I don't need to go to the physio and chiro as often. So I'm cost cutting, saving, and still looking after myself. Because even if you go to the chiropractor, doctor, Ayurvedic doctor, they can't help you. They can just give you suggestions. You literally have to do it. Right? So, what are the benefits of self work? Breath work will basically help you anti age. It'll help you get more work done in less time. It'll help you create your energetic boundaries so other energy beings cannot enter you. When I say beings, let's talk about human beings for now. We can move to the other realms later on. Other people's emotions don't penetrate into you. You are aware of it, but you don't become that. Okay? Doing breath work will help you make quicker and better decisions. Doing breath work will help reduce inflammatory markers in your body and brain. Doing breath work will negate up to a point the negative effects you have from the computer screen. Okay? Doing breath work will cognitively help you reduce the effects of Alzheimer's and dementia. And this is all researched. And if you don't believe it, go online and look for research papers. You'll find it all there. Breathwork is now mainstream mental health in Australia. Mainstream. I work with de addiction centers and I work with athletes, and you have the same problem. Overstimulated athletes, understimulated addicts, right? They all benefit by breathwork. Up to a point where the leading athletes today are using breathwork in conjunction with the exercises to help them reduce inflammation. Breathwork and pranayama is one thing that does not create inflammation before helping you anti-inflammate. Anything you do, yoga poses, exercise, physical movement is all inflammatory, and you only become anti-inflammation once you rest. That's where traditional yoga is number one, because traditional yoga asanas keep you in the anti-inflammatory state from the first pose. Why? They say sukham, sthitam, asam. Don't push it, let it happen. Just let it happen. Stay in the pose, the body will move, which they're calling somatic movement now. But our traditional sciences have all the answers. The less we look at Instagram and social media and modern science for answers, the happier we'll be. So, all the benefits of breathwork I've spelled out to you, plus many more. In fact, let me put it this way, there is nothing that breathwork cannot help with. Nothing. Brain, body, emotion, mental. No, emotion, spirit, sorry, physical, mental, emotional, spirit. All four aspects breathwork can help you with. What do you think about that? Uma, are you ready to unmute? Have you figured out with Avina how to do it? I think you have to raise your hand, Uma, virtually. Then Avina sends you a prompt and then she unmutes you, correct? And then you have to unmute yourself. Now I think Uma, you have to press that unmute button. Avina, what can we do? What's the process here? Alina, can you guide us? What did you do? How did that happen?
Once I send the request, you can just click on, and you're still not able to unmute. Okay.
You can't do it from your
So
end. Can you, Avina?
basically, you just send it to me and it's saying the host would like to unmute you, and then you just press unmute.
But
Oh,
still
it's
not
not.
happening.
Maybe
Can you
so
type in your
maybe your
question?
audio. No, possibly Pramit, her audio is not allowing. Maybe in her main setting, she doesn't have an audio option. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh,
I'm just thinking.
Uma, can you just type for us? Yeah, just type your question. And while that's happening, Ashima, would you like to put some input so we have more conversation happening and get more ideas? I think Zoom has become really complex to what it was a few years back. I think we need to have a degree in Zoom utilization too. There's so many pop-ups that keep happening. It drives me mad. Any luck, Ashima? Or are we having the same problem that Uma was having?
anyone else has any questions, you can raise your hand. We can then send you a request to unmute, and then you can ask your question, or you can simply put it into the chat box. I could read it out.
Oh, yeah, we got a few questions here. Uh, Hi, Prameet. Well. Okay. Yes, sir. Even me. Okay. Salt. Alina, salt? What's that meaning? You're asking me something about salt?
No, no, you were asked earlier, what do people crave? At that point, I couldn't figure how to talk. So
Salt.
I said, it's not
Okay.
sugar for me, it's salt. Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Interesting. So, how much salt are you having?
I'm not. It's just that you tend to, I mean, I'm trying not to, but you tend to just kind of, when you say, what do you gravitate towards? For
Hmm.
me, it's salt. Like when I'm exhausted, I'd want to have something with like salt on it. Like it's never a sugar
Oh,
craving.
okay. Got you.
It's
Got you. Like a
it's like a
savory kind
popcorn. If
of.
you give me a
Yeah,
popcorn and
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
chocolate, I'll
yeah.
have a
Got you.
popcorn.
Got
Which
you.
and also salt is as bad as sugar, right?
Yes, it
It's
depends. Now,
salt,
hold on.
sugar.
Let's clarify that.
Yeah.
Now, look, there are many forms of salt. Okay, there's sea
Yeah.
salt, there's rock salt, and there's
Yeah.
processed iodized salt.
Right.
Honestly, I think you need a combination of all three.
I
Rock
agree.
salt can be licked like horses do,
Right.
right? Keep a nice quality. Like I think in India we call it sandhu namak, rock salt.
Okay.
It's slightly brownish.
Okay.
So any
It's
of these
called what?
Gujarat,
Tandoor.
I think so. Excuse my pronunciation.
Right, right, right.
Sadhu. Yeah,
Okay.
it's like called pure rock salt, Ayurvedic rock salt. You can call it.
Okay.
Okay, so you can have a few granules of that. That's what we used to use in our nimbu pani, the rock
Okay.
salt.
Is it like Kala Namak?
No, kala namak is
Okay.
cooked. Kala namak is actually cooked, which is also,
Okay.
it's unbelievable how far our Indian sciences are. I mean, I'm speechless. If you look at how black salt is made, it's unbelievable. It's cooked in pots, etc., etc.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's like what we do in Ayurveda in India is like how kings and queens used to live
It's
in luxury.
untouchable actually.
Untouchable, like in
Yeah.
luxury. Now, sugars. There are, three, four forms of sugar. Sugarcane juice, jaggery, and then you have two sugars that come before you get the processed sugar. Same as salt. So your
Right.
iodized salt is required, but I mix three. So I have Celtic salt. When I'm in
Right.
India, I have Karnataka salt. But you have
Okay.
Celtic salt, which is sea salt, and then I have rock salt, and then I have an
Yeah.
Australian sea salt, and then I have iodized salt. So I mix and match every few days just
But
to
what, like you
keep the
just use them
balance.
alternatively or you
Yeah,
use
yeah, yeah.
different things for different things?
Alternatively,
Okay.
intuitively. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. Just to
Okay.
keep it
Lovely.
simple, not to complicate it.
Right. Sure.
Unfortunately, here we don't get the sugar options. So I've just
Okay.
gone off sugar, which is the best thing anyway. But for sugar, if I want something, it's honey.
What about agave?
How is it made? Again,
I don't have it. I'm just curious because I heard
again,
so
it's
much
all
of.
processed and
Right.
it's
Sure.
yeah,
I
it's
think dates
again
are great.
dates are good.
Dates.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
natural dates. Absolutely. In fact,
Yeah.
date sugar, date
Yeah.
syrup, you can
Yeah.
make it at home. Very,
Right.
very good to have. And again, look, your brain needs sugar, but it needs
Right.
quality sugar,
Right.
right? One of the problems we're having today is going off sugar completely and starving the brain.
Right.
Okay. So again, it's so much of conflicting information, right? But
Right.
if you go back and say, like in Ayurveda and Indian philosophy, they've always said eat little. Three-fourths of your tummy, you'll get away with
Right.
anything you want to eat.
Right. Right.
Yeah, keep it simple. Now the three-fourths thing is a very I mean, I had a reel once I put out. I think I'll have to redo it. You take a mixer and you fill it full and you try mixing. Is it going to mix? No. But if you keep it three-fourths full and you mix it, you see how well everything digests and mixes, right?
Mm.
So that's your stomach. That's your stomach. If you fill it too much, there's no place for it to churn. And that's where you have acid reflux and gas coming out. But if you fill it less, it gets to mix. Let's talk about protein. My favorite topic in the whole world. Again, over, if I may say, spoken about. Any tips on protein? Any chats coming through? Pramiji, this is a beautiful session. Thank you. Can resonate with your talk. Thank you so much, Umaji. My question right now is, even though I've been in yoga for over a decade and meditation, there's a struggle these days. How can you guide me pointers with the breath work to work around anxiety? Short of breath happens sometimes. Okay. So you're basically trying to tell me that you're trying to utilize all the tools you have and it's still not working for you. it is working, not working. Okay. Can you type? Let's type each other. Think this is WhatsApp. Chat with me. Plant protein. Oh my God, what a waste of time. Synthesized, chemicalized, and I'll explain all this to you. This is going to be interesting. Send me all your questions on protein while Umaji is typing her love letter to me. Excuse my humor, yeah. It's called sense of humor. I call it humor because I've got no sense in my humor. Eggs. Eggs is also very controversial, but highest form of protein, no doubt. Who's AP? Ashmina, lovely. It does work at times and doesn't mostly since few months. Okay. So what are the unvariables that are happening now? Have your stress levels gone up? Importantly, have your hormonal systems changed? So what are the unvariables around you? Can you type that for me? And this is where you're going to see the beauty of a good assessment. And I've learned this from the doctors I've been, yes, hormonal. Okay, that's common. So are you getting flushes and stuff? Are you moving into that menopause area? Chana, very good, but very heavy to digest. I personally can't have chana. It gives me bloating. So if I do eat chana, it's like a handful. I love chana, don't get me wrong, and good mixed together. It's my favorite. But again, mood swings, yes. So more than likely, you're moving into that direction, right? So now, what you have been doing worked for you at that point in your life, right? So think you were basically, I'm not going to say younger because I don't believe age is a problem. In fact, I think with age, we become smarter at handling our emotions. So we're able to handle stress better. In fact, at my age today, I'm much better than I was when I was younger. So I feel age is a very overdone thing. You would need to, which part of India are you in? Hyderabad. Okay. Having a good Ayurvedic doctor to check your pulse, to consult you, and understand where you are in life. Okay? Because if your stress levels have not changed, and if your response to stress is the problem, means the problem lies in you addressing the stress. But if the stress levels have changed, then you have to raise your frequency, raise the vibration, which means you would need specific Ayurvedic asanas, specific breath work, specific foods, and you'll have to kind of adapt your lifestyle to suit where you're at. Okay, I'll give you a simple example. We'll just talk about fasting, we'll talk about insomnia, and we'll talk about protein and how protein causes cancer. This is going to blow you apart. For me, fasting doesn't work because of my constitution. If I fast, I get gas, I get acidity. So I battled that for many years till I met my Ayurvedic doctors, and they said, look, your constitution does not allow you to fast. So I was like, simple, that makes sense. Why was I killing myself? Yeah, but they said you can eat smaller meals and do it in 3 4 hours. This is before all this new science stuff of what intermittent fasting came out. He said you can eat by 6 a.m. in the morning up till 12 and then stop eating, you'll be fine. Right? Because then it has 4 5 hours to digest and you'll be fine by the time you get to bed. So same way, it has to be specific to you. No more Instagram scrolling in terms of how to improve my health. Find a good Ayurvedic doctor. Go for your pulse diagnosis. Take what he's saying. Adapt it into your lifestyle slowly. You must do your morning meditation and breath work. Sorry, breath work followed by meditation. It's very important because breath work will ground you. So your meditation is more specific. Okay. Secondly, I'm just guessing your problems in life right now, you're more clear of your problems now than when you were younger. Younger, everything is a problem, right? This is not good. That is not good. This is happening. How am I going to save? How am I going to do? Avina would relate to us. Everything is a problem when you're younger, right? At this stage in our lives, we are clear. These are my problems. This is my ability to do it. How do I do it? So simplify it. These are my problems, tangible 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is what I need to handle it. If I can't handle it, go for counseling, go see an Ayurvedic doctor, get input, and start activating those inputs in line. What the Ayurvedic doctor will tell you will be 100% different to what you've learned today because it is such an advanced science, honestly, that our modern science just doesn't fit in. It's literally opposite. Okay, which brings us to protein. Think of your stomach as a furnace. Okay, and your furnace can only absorb 10 grams of protein. You think by adding 30 grams of protein is going to make a difference? Where is the 20 grams going? Where is the excessive protein that you're having going? Where is it being stored? Where is the excessive protein being stored? Avina, let's start with you. Put you in the hot seat.
Uh, I'm not sure.
What happens to excessive calories? Where does it get stored?
I think excessive calories gets stored as like fats eventually, and then
Simple.
yeah.
So all these geniuses propagating excessive protein use without high protein. Now, what is high protein? I'll come to that too. You're basically adding a substance, protein, which is so difficult to digest that by the time it digests, your liver and kidneys already under load, and you're anyway storing the fat as opposed to having extra carbs. Extra protein does the same thing. Extra fat, protein, carbs all get stored as fat. So that's why you see high protein diets are not working. It works on people who exercise. So the variable is exercise and movement and the happiness quotient. Are you with me over here? Okay, now let's look at protein. You can maximum digest 10 grams of protein at one time unless you're a bodybuilder and you're on steroids. Okay, anything extra is a load on your body and it gets stored as fat. Now let's look at protein sources. Your vegetable proteins, there's nothing natural about them. They're all synthetically made. So the quality of protein you're putting into your body is poor. So what's going to happen to the quality of your muscle? It's going to be poor, right? That's why we eat organic foods क्यों? क्योंकि cellular से from inside out you become strong, right? When you eat good quality organic food without pesticides, it's to make you strong from inside out. So if you eat cheap protein, which is all our vegetable proteins which are dead, you're basically taking in dead energy. Now, how much protein is required by the body? 1 gram of your body weight. So say if you're 80 kilos, you'll be 170 grams. Pounds. 1 pound of body weight, zero point 0.5 grams of protein. That has been the scientific data for the last 25 years till the protein industry realized that, oh, we can make more money. So now they're saying 1 gram of protein for 1 pound of body weight. That's too much. Too much. Yeah, plant-based protein is such a scam. Yeah, I mean, let's not even call it a scam because obviously it's working for someone, but we are the ones who are allowing the scam to happen, right? So eat natural proteins from your vegetables, from your pulses, from your lentils. Okay. In fact, this is the funny thing. Indians are protein deficient was a study done in the 1950s when they studied malnourished populations and said Indians are protein under protein, like they're eating less protein. What a load of rubbish. I mean, you go and use a study on malnourished children and you say all Indians are protein poor. No, that's nonsense. My grandmother's 100. Okay. She's eaten an organic Ayurvedic lifestyle all her life. She grew up with cows, had her own milk, blah, 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 blah. She's fine. Muscular wise, my dad grew up in a Gujarati 4th degree karate black belt. Fine, muscular. If you see the Chinese masters, like even my sensei, Parviz Mistry, God bless him, he eats non-veg, but he's strong, muscular guy. Never took protein powders. When I studied with him in 96, he told me, son, these protein powders are going to be the biggest problem in the future because they're going to cause you more cancer. And now there's research coming out and saying it aids in cancer, excessive protein. Now, forget protein. The quality of protein is synthetic. So what's going to happen to your body is going to be synthetic, right? Just the logic over there sums everything up. Insomnia. Okay, so I have these sleep sessions that I do on Sundays. Okay, and I'm going to give you this technique for free. Sleep Sundays happens even through Soul Sensei. Please come for one of those sessions. It happens, I think, at 9 p.m. India time. Yes, it's 11:30 p.m. Yeah, 9 p.m. your time. It'll put you to sleep. Just put your hand up if you've tried Yog Nidra. Yeah, Yog Nidra is not to sleep. Yog Nidra is to stay awake, to stay in your half awake, half sleep state. Many people use Yog Nidra wrongly. So Yog Nidra is not supposed to be for sleeping. If you sleep during Yog Nidra, it's like doing exercise with your eyes closed. It's not done. Okay. The sleep session has 5 parts, and this is going to help you with your insomnia. Insomnia, of course, again, if it becomes a medical condition, I can't help you with that. You have to go through your own process. I'm talking before it becomes a diagnosed medical condition. The main reason people don't get sleep is the brain is overactive. The brain could be overactive because of unresolved plans for the day gone by, or unresolved plans for the next day. Of course, coffee, eating the wrong time, all of this makes an effect, right? They say if you eat anything closer to 4 hours of your sleep time, it's going to keep you awake longer. Secondly, if you're on technology before sleep, it's going to keep you awake longer. And the average is 90 minutes for somebody to get to sleep nowadays from the time you turn your phone off and you're lying in bed. So the first thing is to understand it takes you 90 minutes, so there's no struggle. Otherwise, what is the struggle? Oh, I'm not getting sleep. I'm not getting sleep. How will I wake up in the morning? And the brain keeps going, and it's 3 hours and you're still tossing and turning, right? It's like literally doing exercise in bed. Now, the exercise I've found is journaling when you're in bed. What are the 5 things, 7 things, 3 things that I need to have done differently today? Start with that. I don't journal because I visualize, but you can journal, you can type, you can do whatever you want. I have found if I use this strategy every night, it doesn't matter how close to bedtime I have eaten or how close to bedtime I've been on the screen, I knock out. Just like, with your tongue hanging out, you've seen in cartoons. So I literally knock out like that. I can feel myself with my tongue up, but I'm like, I'm so sleepy, I can't be bothered. Okay. So, what could I have done differently today? You scan your whole day and you start writing it down in pillars or in balloons, however you want it. Resolve the day. What is it that I need to do tomorrow? Create your to-do list. This is what I need to do tomorrow. Tap, 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 tap. Now, there'll be a point where like, I just don't want to go into it because I'm not ready to address it. It's stressing me out. That's when you do your breath work. That's when you sit down and actually do it. You take the trouble because you will not be able to sleep. Unresolved brain, unresolved digestion will not help you sleep. It's that simple. It's really that simple. The 2 things. Clean up the brain, clean up the gut, you will get good sleep. Of course, if you're used to sleeping on a full stomach, it's going to take you time to adapt. So give yourself 1 year, 2 years to feel that adaptation happening. Right? Be gentle with yourself, and eventually it will happen. Okay. Another thing for insomnia you can do is actually sitting and doing breath work. And for the ones who want free breathwork hacks, I've got my Spotify channel, which is for free. You can do the PM sequence, which is Anulom Vilom, Om chanting, Gayatri Mantra. Guaranteed you'll get sleep after that. Okay. Any other questions coming up?
I have a question.
Hmm.
Uh, me, Avina. Me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you spoke about not being able to sleep, but there's also an issue of sleeping well, even though it's for an extended period of time, but still waking up feeling tired. How does one deal with that?
Yeah, very good question. So there are many reasons you could be sleeping on time and still waking up feeling tired. First thing is eating too close to bedtime because the mixer hasn't had time to mix. So your toxins are in the body and you're waking up toxic. Second thing is not doing a good breathwork session before sleep. Because what does breathwork do? It cleans your brain, right? If your brain is overactive, you can sleep for 10 hours and you'll still feel like you haven't slept. But if you do your breath work, if you do a beautiful traditional yoga session, you will find your quality of sleep is better and you need to sleep less. Now, one more very important thing, the timing of your sleep. And I want you all to go online and do research on the Chinese clock or the Ayurvedic clock of healing. There are certain times that certain organs of your body heal. Okay, so 9 to 11 p.m., 11 to 2 p.m., 2 to 4 p.m., So there are different times your healing clock works: liver, kidney, stomach, brain, thyroid, blah, 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 blah. So if you maintain that diary and you maintain that sleeping pattern, you will finally start to feel I'm in sync with what is happening with me. Again, don't expect this to happen in a day. The usual law of calculation is if 3 years you've been healthy, give yourself 3 years to be healthy. So a pattern takes about the same time to change as you've had. Does that make sense? Uma, love letter time. Look, when you talk about scams, everything is sold today is a scam. Now, let me just highlight something to you. When I saw my dear grandfather on life support, he had access to the best doctors. And at that point, as a teenager, I was like, oh, doctors are wrong, blah, blah, blah. That drove me to become who I am today. But somewhere down that journey, I was like, hold on. It was his choice. He went to the doctor. The doctor then said, come to me. So we as humans have to take responsibility. And that's what we don't want to do today. Right? I'm guaranteeing you 9 out of 10 people today after this session will go and say, oh, मेरा कोच ने बोला था इसके लिए मैंने किया. Oh, I did it because my coach on this online platform said it. Hello, I'm giving you advice. I'm giving you power to think. You must think and do it because tomorrow, and we found out in lockdown, no one cares. You are for yourself, and only your community and your family care for you. And even that goes when you're in fear. You saw the craziness that happened, right? And now what we're experiencing world over is similar but not same. But I have a sense something is going to be voluntary lockdowns happening very soon. I don't want to scare you, but I just want you to be ready. The way things are being laid out, it thinks something is coming. So you have to do your breath work. Look, we are all in a negative zone today, okay? Because we are not moving for 3 hours. And there is no shortcut. I don't care which doctor you get, put him in front of me and I argue. I will win the argument because you don't need research to have common sense. All right? The point is keep your bank balance positive, keep your breath balance positive. You must do your breath work in the morning. There's no shortcut. Do it for 21 days and then come back and tell me it's not working. I will change my tone. 21 days, 21 minutes every morning, you do your breath work. In 3 days, you'll feel the difference. I've seen people who are depressed as vegetables come out of it just by listening to the audio, the PM sequence that has been given to me by Kaivalya Dham. Breathwork doing lying down will work, yes. Just do it. Because once you do it lying down, you'll feel energized and you'll do some sitting up. Okay? Now, this is the only caveat or problem we have with traditional yoga. Now, don't get me wrong here very carefully. Traditional yoga is the OG of optimizing and enhancing human performance. It is the OG of anti-aging. Pranayama is the be all and end all of structured, conscious breathing. But the standards are so high that you're setting yourself up for failure. Many people say, "Arey, nahi hota hai, I can't do it." Okay, don't worry. Let's make it easy. Do one breath, it's better than doing zero. Do two breaths, it's better than zero. Do half a breath, it's better than zero. So the point here is start with your breath work, whether it's lying down, whether it's in the shower, whether it's in the toilet. Keep your phone away, don't take it into the toilet, and do 5 Anulom Viloms. Make that a daily habit. Lie down in bed, listen to my PM sequence. Don't do it, visualize it. Right? Lie down in bed, put your hands under your neck, do 5 hyperventilating breaths. But do it. Make a commitment to yourself that 1 minute in the morning, 5 minutes in the morning, whatever you leave it today, you make that commitment internally on a piece of paper on your phone. I am going to give that moment in the morning to myself. Doesn't matter how, 1 minute, half a minute, one breath, half a breath. Make that commitment and be there. Once you be there, your life will change because that one breath will become two breaths, will become three breaths. You know why? Not because I'm telling you, because you'll feel the power. It's like when you eat candy, you're like, I want more. The next day you have another one, I want more. So same way, you just have to reprogram your brain to liking what you want to like. Okay, I've got some messages. I'm going to read them out. What is the best way of breath work? Just do. Just do. Just do the breath. In fact, let's do one breath now. Ready? Close your right nostril and just breathe for 1 minute from the left nostril. Nothing else. Don't think about anything except the breath. If the thought comes, let it come. Left nostril, inhalation, exhalation. If you have a blocked left nostril, use your mouth, but do not open your right nostril. Start. Complete your round. Left nostril is Chandra, the moon. It helps you relax. What we did now was unstructured left nostril breathing, which is basically closing the right nostril and just breathing normally from your left. Before we end today's session, even if you just do this, you will observe automatically you move into controlled conscious breathing where you will consciously inhale, consciously exhale. Last two questions. My personal experience with breath work: brain is supercharged and you feel lighter. Absolutely. And that's my question. Why don't you want to feel like that every day? You want to, right? So you just do it morning, afternoon, night. I don't care what I am doing, where I am, even if I have to go into the toilet in the afternoon. So I don't want everybody to see what I'm doing. I'll go sit in the toilet and do breath work. It's stinky, but it's okay. You get some benefits over there. You have to be a little crazy to achieve some form of sanity in today's insane world, right? So let that craziness happen with your breath work. Once you do your breath work, things will fall into place automatically. You'll become a more powered individual. You'll make better decisions and you'll be a better person to be around. People will love being around you. Okay? It creates an aura, bulletproof jacket around you. So the intention I want you to make today is I am worth happiness and love in every time of my life. I don't care what the news is saying. I don't care what Prameet is saying. I don't care what any other influencer is saying. Today, I make my commitment to love myself through breath work. We are born with the breath. We die without the breath. Now you decide how you want to live in the middle. You want to live or you want to exist. That choice is yours. Once you make that decision, you will start to practice it. Brothers, sisters, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. One last question. I can't hold for 1 minute. Gone through two surgeries. You don't have to hold for 1 minute. Who's asking you to hold for 1 minute? Don't put all these hardcore things in front of you. I can't hold for 1 minute when I'm not practicing. So big deal. In fact, if you're doing diving, then you start training yourself for that game, right? For that sport. So holding for 1 minute is inconsequential right now. Even in pranayama, they say holding of breath is only an advanced way of doing it. Do not hold your breath. Practice controlling the breath, but don't hold the breath. When it's time for you to hold the breath, you come to me. I will show you some superb hacks which you can basically use. The energy changes absolutely. Breath is energy, and energy is breath. Again, you're born with breath, you're born with energy. You stop breathing, you stop living for energy, you just become an existential object. I loved your session. Thank you so much. I love spending time with you. I think we're going to have one more Ask Me Anything after a while. Lavina will update us as time goes. Sorry, I have to go. Excellent. Even I have to go. Don't be sorry, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Bhai or Beno. Thank you so much.